Hey guys, Sandy here, and today I am super excited to be working with some beach photos. This is me and my daughter in Monterey. I have some supplies from Paper House and some gorgeous sequins from Spiegelmom scraps. So let's see what I can do. Now the first thing I did was trim those branding strips off, and now I'm just kind of laying out where my photos are going to go on the layout. And I'm doing this because I'm going to be doing a lot of sequin work, and I do not want to fill in all the spaces behind the photos with sequins. One, it's a big waste of sequins, and two, it takes a good amount of time to do what I'm about to do, so I don't want to waste one, my sequins, or two, my time. Now I have this gorgeous little sequin dish, and it is pretty much my favorite little dish in the world. I just love putting my sequins in it. Now, what I have done is marked off where the photos are, and then I am just going to fill this area without any like plan, I guess. I have no rhyme or reason. I'm just grabbing the sequins as I see fit, and I'm putting them on the layout right here. Now, some of these sequins are open, so they are hexagons and they have big, wide open areas on them, and some of the sequins in this mix have teeny tiny little stars. So I am going to go ahead and put some of those stars inside the hexagons as well as outside the hexagons. So basically what I'm doing here is just creating a pretty shining, shimmering, splendid gold little bit on this layer. And then the only thing I'm going to do is just create the gold sequins all the way across. I'm going to follow this line that I have going down here. This is one of my favorite things to do with sequins. I just love having like a sheet of them across a page. I just think that when the light hits them, they're gorgeous. It's just a fun thing to do with sequins. Of course, you can just, do a little sprinkling about, but really my favorite thing is to just fill a page with sequins. I am determined that one day I will fill an entire page with sequins. This is definitely getting closer to it, but it is definitely not there yet. Now I am using a crystal katana, and I am also using Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. This is my favorite combination for adhering sequins. The Nuvo Deluxe adhesive dries clear. It also dries matte, so you don't have like a clear shiny thing. It's just a clear matte. And then the crystal katana has a waxy tip on the end of it. It's not like a sticky plastic like on a jewel picker, even though I use a jewel picker as well. And then it has a pointy bit on it, not like a sharp point, but a pointy bit on the other end. And it just helps move around the sequins a little bit. Now, as you can see, I do have that line from where my photos are, and I am just putting the sequins ever so slightly over that line, because when I put my photo back down on the page, I don't want there to be a halo of paper around the photo. I want the sequins to look like they've gone all the way underneath of the photo, even though they have not. Because like I said, that's a lot of sequins to put on a page that you're not even going to be able to see them. So I am going to do this with a bunch of different sequin mixes. And don't you guys worry, I'm not going to make you watch me put the sequins down on every single section of the paper. This did take me a good amount of time to complete. Basically, I alternated the sequins just about down the entire page. So I took a second sheet of the same paper, and I'm using a close to my heart distresser to just kind of distress up the edges, because I mean the edges of the waves and all, they look distressed on the paper, and when I cut them apart, I got that, that solid scissored line, and I didn't want that. I wanted to keep on going with the same kind of feeling. Now I do rip the paper in some places. Some places get a little bit more distressed than others, and I am okay with that because I think it makes it look a little bit more natural. And then I am just going to cover up the bits with some fun foam, and then you'll be able to see the layers. And I am going to do this down the entire bottom of the page. The only layer I did not do this to was the sand layer up at the top. And in case you couldn't tell, this is the beach and the waves, or at least that's what I think it should be. And I just like what I've come up with. Now I am cutting the fun foam a little bit thinner, and then that allows you to manipulate it a little bit so you can kind of curve it. You don't just have to have like rigid squares. That is the great thing about the fun foam. When you put it down like that, you can kind of give it a little bit of a twist, and it works pretty good. So then now you can see that I put my photo down there. You do not see the fact that the sequins do not go all the way across the page. I'm just pulling out a bunch of mixes, and I'm just trying to figure out where I want the sequins to go, because there are varying shades of blue in all of these sequin packs, and there are varying shades of blue with the paper as well. So I kind of want it to coordinate a little bit. I don't want my deepest, darkest blue sequins up at the top where the water is kind of a teal color. I want the teal sequins, and there I go. I'm a slob and putting the sequins, all over the place. And there's my big old fat head, so you don't even really get to see anything. But I am going to tuck the sequins underneath of the torn edged paper that I have here. And that is the same reason, I don't want there to be a line of sequins. I don't want you to be able to see where the sequins start and the sequins end. I want it all to be seamless. And that is a big deal to me because of the way I had this layout pictured in my head. I wanted it to really come out looking like I had it pictured in my head. And it turned out, guys, spoiler alert, here it is in all of its glory. So as you can see, every one of the waves that don't have sequins on them have been cut out from another sheet of paper, distressed and popped up and placed on the background. And then you can see the sequins that I used. And I also included some of the larger sequins that were in the sequin packs, just to give it a little bit more oomph, a little bit more sparkle, just a little bit more. Now I am going to make photo mats for my photos, and I'm just taking some white cardstock, and I am distressing the heck out of this cardstock, you guys. As you can see, I have rips and tears, and like I said, I'm okay with that because I don't want this to be a very rigid square-ish type layout. It's a beach, it's waves and sand, and nothing about that is rigid and square. So I just want to make sure that my photo mats feel the same. I don't want the photos to kind of sit on top and you look at it and be like, oh, something's wrong with this. Something is wrong with this. And you know what's wrong with this? I will tell you what is wrong with this. So the AT&T guy came while I was in the middle of doing the voiceover, so the doorbell rang. And then the cord broke on my microphone. So if the stuff is a little funny, it's because I went from using my microphone to no microphone. What a mess. Okay, so the only thing I'm doing here is taking out these little pieces of fun foam so that my photo can lay down on top of it. So we're going to go ahead and get that photo of Lana and I, and then this photo over here with Lana by herself. Now the reason why I chose to do the photos this way instead of the other way is because I want my title to be over here on the left-hand side, and it's going to be a little short and sweet title. I really want the backgrounds of the layout to be the focus. Besides the photos, obviously, I don't really need a huge title. I don't need a lot going on. I really just need something short and sweet so that you can check out all the glittery goodness and also the photos of us. So I chose some puffy stickers from Paper House. It says smile, and then the one below it says something about I'm really a mermaid, or I wish I was a mermaid, something like that. And then the fun thing about the paper house stickers is that they pop them up on foam so that you can have some instant dimension. However, I was already putting these stickers on top of something that was popped up, so I didn't need that to happen. So I just used my craft knife there and sliced the foam off. Now I am going to put these two little mermaids down. I decided that the one sitting down actually needed to be over here at the bottom of the photo instead of on the top, because I really didn't want her to look like she was kind of like sitting on top of the title. Although it is a cute look, not really what I was going for with this one. So again, I just sliced that foam off, and then I add some regular old ATG to make sure that it stays on there. Now this sticker had two different pieces to it. It had like this little transparency underneath of it. So I just pulled those apart so I could manipulate it around to where I thought that it looked good. And as you can see, it was a little bit of a struggle getting that to go where I wanted it, but eventually it happens and I'm good with it. Look, I'm like, come on, let's do this. All right, so now I have the mermaid tail kind of like swinging around to the S, and that makes me happy. Now these other little bits and bobs, I'm just going to go ahead and sprinkle around the photos as well, just to give it a little bit of color. And that's just going to bring your eye to the photos as well, because when you look at this layout, you definitely see all the sparkly, shiny goodness of the sequins, but just the little touches around the photos will help draw your eye into them as well. Now, I don't even think I do any journaling on this layout, but that is okay because this layout is one in a series of layouts for the day that we went traveling up the coast. So I don't feel the need to put journaling on every single layout if I have a bunch of different layouts from the same event. And that's just my personal preference. You might decide that you need journaling on every single layout, and if you do, hey, good for you. Make it happen. All right, guys, here are some still shots. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys again real soon for another video.